You know, YouTube can be kind of a piece of trash sometimes, and it has a reputation for like demonetizing videos and suppressing videos. And then when creators complain about it, people are just like, hey, why don't you start your own platform like you have $1 zillion and a zillion server space? So it's not really that realistic of an option for most people to just go start their own alternative to YouTube. But that is what McJuggernuggets did a couple years ago when he opened up StoryFire. Now, StoryFire in theory was kind of a cool concept, you know? It's just like, hey, there's this video platform that's also kind of Twitter, and you can just create stuff there, and you can just exist, and we're not gonna suppress you in any way. And that all sounded like too good to be true. And it kind of was, because you couldn't just start an account on StoryFire and then just start uploading right away. That wasn't something that you were able to do. You had to get approved first. So what you could do on StoryFire is you could write stories, which really wasn't that appealing to me, which is why I didn't really get into the whole StoryFire thing when it first launched. I started an account being like, oh cool, a new way to do things on the internet, I love that. And then it was like, hey, you can't do the thing that we said that you could do. And I was like, oh, well, that's a piece of shit. I'm not going to do this then. So the hype wasn't really there, and it went for years and years. Nobody was really talking about StoryFire other than this McJuggernuggets guy and Boogie. So you know it didn't really have the best reputation. But then anyway, years go by, and then all of a sudden, all these YouTubers are now touting StoryFire as the next big thing. We're talking 2019, 2020. People are like, oh my god, did you hear about StoryFire? StoryFire's so sick. So all of Keemstar's uploads were now there. Fucking all of the commentator videos were now all on StoryFire. And I'm like, oh man, maybe this is going to be the thing. So I tried to start another account, and lo and behold, just like always, I couldn't upload any fucking videos. So I was pissed, and I didn't really fucking, continue on with the website. And the website really wasn't offering that much in the ways of like monetary incentive. What they were doing instead of monetary incentive to their creators was giving away this thing called Blaze. So you earned Blaze when people donated their Blaze to you. And I don't think there was ever really a way to cash out your Blaze or any way to make your money with it, but either way, it just seemed like a bunch of horse shit, a bunch of bullshit, and a bunch of dog shit. And if you don't know the difference between all those different kinds of shit, well then, I think I need to do a whole other video about the different kinds of shit found on the internet. So what happens is, a couple months go by, and StoryFire is now claiming bankruptcy. They're like, hey, you know what? We can't really do this anymore. We're going to close down the platform. And everybody started giving away their Blaze. Everybody started making their videos about how it's so sad to see this independent company go the way of the dodo. Oh my god, I can't believe this thing is going away. It had the potential to be so great. But do you guys know who McJuggernuggets is? This guy got famous for like staging videos. You know, he wouldn't come out and tell you that the video was fake. It was just like an angry dad doing an angry thing or whatever, and there'd be like a whole bunch of like abuse happening in these videos. But they were all staged, and they were all just like a thing. So McJuggernuggets is kind of a worker, kind of a liar, kind of like a little manipulator like that. And that's not really a bad thing if you know that's what you're getting from this creator. You know what I mean? He's trying to put out a narrative to kind of blur the line between what's real and what's fake. And to me, I kind of like that style of creation because it's not really spoon-feeding an audience. Hey, this is my actual belief and this is what I actually think. No, it's a little bit more nuanced than that when done right. So when McJuggernuggets is all like, oh, you know, my platform that I worked so hard to create is going to go away. I'm so sad. There's a piece of me in the back of my mind that's going, okay, I know you're like a business owner now, but you're still the same McJuggernuggets that's been on YouTube forever. You do pranks. You do stunts. You do really weird publicity things just to get people talking. That's your style. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just like what you do. But everybody seemed to take it so seriously and so legitimately, and they're all so sad that it was closing down, and nobody had any idea that it could have been a work, that it could have been totally a fabrication just to get people talking. So then yesterday happened. February 1st at 5 p.m., StoryFire was supposed to close its doors forever. And it just so happened that McJuggernuggets was filming himself 5 minutes before he was about to hit that termination button, and he got a message. He got a message from a funder right down at the final minute, right down to the wire. He got an investor to give him $2 million to keep this stupid platform afloat for at least another year. And what's bullshit about that is that it was so obviously planned from the start. And normally, when something's like concocted and planned like that from the start, I have a little bit more respect for it, you know? Because you're not really just coming out and saying the thing and you have the balls to kind of stick to your conviction with a bit. But when it's the lives of all these goddamn creators that you're affecting, some people, they gave away all their blaze, man. And they made these videos, you made everybody look like such an idiot. There's a part of me that's like, that's kind of cool that everybody kind of fell for it. You kind of hoodwinked everybody. But then there's another part of me that's like, well, they all got on board your shitty platform to get people to talk about it, and they were nice enough to promote your thing, and then you're just gonna do this shit to them? I don't know, dude. It doesn't really sit right with me. I'm not really a huge fan of how this all went down, and I'm just lucky that I didn't get involved with this shit from the beginning, because it is a goddamn garbage fire right now. It's not a businessman running a business, guys. This is a goddamn troll trying to convince you that he has the alternative to YouTube, when YouTube is a massive company that has massive amounts of money, massive amounts of employees, massive amounts of server space, and there's no way that this guy is competing with that. So yeah, now StoryFire is back, and everybody's like, okay, well, I might as well just keep putting my uploads there if it's gonna exist, and nobody seems to be too annoyed or pissed off about it. But I'm on the sidelines, annoyed as shit, being like, McJuggernuggets, what are you doing? You can do this kind of shit for like a performative purposes, you know what I mean? And to kind of make someone laugh and to kind of blur the lines between reality so you can suspend your disbelief. All that sort of stuff is so sick, but it's not a way to actually run a business. It's not a way to actually run a company that you want to one day compete with one of the biggest companies in the world. It's so amateur. It's so green bean. I am not a fan of it, and I hope that you just fuck off.